Christa Jacobson, headmistress of the Budo, and today I'm making my very first response video on YouTube. After all the years that I've been on YouTube, making videos and posting videos on our websites, etc., I have never made a response video. And today I am making my very first response video that was posted by Mr. Anthony Cummins called Ninja and its Connection to Witchcraft. For those of you guys who have never followed me before on social media or have seen my website, I started what's called the Budo back in 2004, more commonly known as the Budo Ninjutsu Dojo. And I created this particular school as a way for anybody to come in and train in authentic ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu without all of the stress and the online politics and all that kind of stuff that comes along with these large organizations. Now today I'm going to be making a video on ninja and its connection to witchcraft. And a particular gentleman who is a published author and a ninja historian and researcher, his name's Anthony Cummins. And Mr. Cummins had made this particular video and he mentioned me a lot in this video. And I want to kind of take time to explain certain things that wasn't really talked about that much within that video, okay? So the first thing I'd like to talk about is how he talks about how I practice witchcraft. I do. I'm a witch. I practice witchcraft. I do practice Wicca. Now, what I want to talk about is Wicca and what that is, and witchcraft, and then ninjutsu, because his video was very vague, it was very generic. Nothing that he said was particularly wrong, but nothing was very in-depth and specific. So I'm going to try to make a video that will hopefully be a little bit more specific in certain areas. That way anybody who did see that video can get a little bit more information on all the different topics. The first thing that he talked about was he said Wicca is a new thing and it's a new religion. That's not exactly true, although it's not exactly false. Wicca itself, as far as a movement, is fairly new. It did start, I believe, with Gerald Gardner back in the 40s and 50s and all that kind of stuff. There was a time where practicing Wicca or witchcraft and things like that was just illegal. You couldn't do that at the time. So once the law changed and there was freedom of religion and people were allowed to talk about different kinds of religion other than Christianity, people started talking about witchcraft and Wicca and other forms of pagan faith. Now, the forefront, the one who came to the forefront, the one that was like the face of Wicca at the time was Gerald Gardner. So a lot of people just say that everything was developed by Gardner and it's something he created on his own. He was the one that organized Wicca from an organizational perspective. So yes, Wicca, if you're looking at it on paper, started in the 50s or somewhere around there when Gerald Gardner brought it to the forefront. However, the practice of Wicca is very old, and the ritual of Wicca and things like that is extremely old and very traditional. The example that I like to give is the same with the Budo. I developed the Budo in 2004. Well, we've been open for 10 years, and I've had students from all over the world train with myself here at the Hombu Dojo or in our online university, and or in our other schools that we have. And even though that the Budo on paper is only 10 years old, the traditions that we teach are very old. If you guys want to call it ritual or kata or forms, or techniques themselves are very old and very traditional, and they date back to the age of the samurai. So even though when you come into the Budo, you come study the Budo, you come into the Budo you get rank in Budo. You don't get rank in the traditions and all the other things that we do. Your rank will be received in the Budo. What you're studying is very old. And that is that's a good example of how to look at from Wicca. So the first thing I wanted to do was really kind of touch base with that, because when I heard Mr. Cummins say, oh, it's a new thing, it's just modern witchcraft, and that, I'm like, it's not exactly true. However, there are naysayers, and there are people that will say, nope, it's cut dry, it was something developed in the 50s, and which is fine. Everyone has the right to believe what they would like. Now that I've discussed Wicca, it's very important to understand that Wicca is not the same type of pagan practice that the ninja would have practiced, okay? So I don't want you guys to sit there and say, well, Christa practices Wicca, so she's practicing this religion that the ancient ninja would have practiced. That is absolutely not true. And I just want to make sure we're clear about that. Yes, it is a pagan practice, however, and what they practiced was pagan as well. But it is not the same thing across the board. Now, all pagan faiths across the board do have a certain theme to them that is very obvious that you're practicing a pagan faith or a pagan religion. Now I'm throwing around two words that I am using, and I want to make sure that I'm clear about that. I'm using the word Wicca and I'm using the word pagan. Now people think pagan is a religion. Pagan is not a religion. Paganism is not a specific religion. And the people who don't practice pagan faiths tend to think pagan is a religion. It's not. Paganism is an umbrella term that basically separates all faiths that predate what's called the Abrahamic religion. Okay? Now, the Abrahamic religions are three major religion or faith systems that go to Abraham. And what that is you have Christianity and all of its denominations, you have Judaism and all of their different denominations, and you have Islamic faith and all of their different denominations. All of those three faiths, Christianity, Judaism, and the Islamic faiths, from a religious studies perspective, that's called the Abrahamic religion. Okay? Now, paganism or pagan religion or pagan faith is anything that predates the Abrahamic religions. So that could be a lot of different things. That could be Wicca is considered a pagan faith. Buddhism, specifically the Mikyo or esoteric Buddhism, is a pagan faith. And I can go on and on and on with all the different things, but that is what we consider as pagan or an older way. Now the reason I wanted to explain that is because when we talk about ninja magic, and there are lots of different ninja scrolls, ninja dinsho that talk about ninja magic, and all of that falls under the category of pagan. So now that we have that, there are many scrolls that talk about ninja magic and samurai magic, okay? Typically what we see is we see the Kuji-in and the Kuji-kiri and all this kind of stuff, which comes from the Mikyo and other traditions of esoteric Buddhism. Now, from that perspective, when we look at paganism, when we look at all these things that predate the Abrahamic religion, there is a common theme, as I said. And what that is spirituality, connection to the elements, the understanding of the elements, earth, wind, water, fire, void, and spirit. What you see is the pentagram, or the pentacle, where you have the star or the star in the circle. And many of us who have studied ninjutsu have seen that, where you see the star with the circle and the different points or different elements, And that's kind of universal when you're dealing with a pagan faith. They still have a pentacle and a pentagram, and although they may have slightly different meanings, what we do see is a strong connection to the elements, a strong connection to nature, a strong connection of spirituality, and the practice of magic. If you guys go back and watch some of my videos, if you guys go back and watch the 2013 Daikomi Osai, I talk about certain ninja magic in that video. The last video I made, which was the 2014 Tomoru Keiko, I did ninja magic in that one. You guys can watch some of my other videos that I've posted. With the Kuden Hiden series, I did one on candle magic, I did one on incense in the dojo, I did one on colors in Budo, and all of those things are very pagan. And all of these things are things that have been practiced in many different traditions all over the world. So if you want to see some of the stuff that is practiced within our dojo, please go watch those videos and check them out. Also watch the one that's called Budo Altar. That would be another one, so you guys can see the altar and why it's set up a certain way. Now before I go on, I do want to say that I might be freaking people out when it's like, Krista, she's a witch and she practices Wicca and she runs a martial arts school. I do, however, I do not force religion or practice or spirituality on anybody. You guys can come into this dojo and train regardless of religious belief. It has absolutely nothing to do with it. Yes, you're going to be studying ninjutsu and classical samurai bujutsu, so with that you will have to learn about ninja magic. And ninja magic is something that's taught in our curriculum. That doesn't mean you have to believe in it. Okay, you can learn about lots of things, that doesn't mean you believe in it. So I just want to make that very clear, that just because it's something that's gone over in the curriculum, it's us teaching the historical aspects of ninjutsu. Most people don't teach that anymore. All they do is they teach some of the fighting techniques or the strategies, and they don't really get into the mindset of the actual ninja. And to me, I think that is such a huge loss to not educate the students on just the raw reality of what they believed, why they believed it. And once you understand what they believed and why they believed it, then you have a better understanding of why they did what they did. So yeah, without doubt, the understanding of ninja magic is definitely covered within our school. So if you guys are interested in ninja magic, okay, or ninja witchcraft, keep in mind witchcraft just means you're practicing magic. You're a witch or you're a sorcerer or whatever, but you believe in magic and you are practicing it. So yes, the correct term would be witchcraft. There is witchcraft within ninjutsu. Here's a few books that I recommend if you guys want to educate yourself on ninja magic or witchcraft within ninjutsu. Okay, the first one is called the Iga and Koga Ninja Skills. It looks like this right here. Okay, this is an excellent book. This book, in my opinion, if I look at some of the top ninja texts of all time, everyone knows the Bansen Shukai, the Ninpaiden, and the Shoninki. And in our school, in the Budo Yukai, we openly practice and study from the Bansen Shukai, the Ninpaiden, and the Shoninki as part of our curriculum. And in my opinion, I think this book is just right up there with them. It is an excellent book, and it has a load of ninja magic. So if you guys wanted to educate yourself as to just some of the spells or some of the ritual that the Shinobi of Iga and Koga would have done with their witchcraft or their magic, this is an excellent book that will help you with that. Okay? There are two more books that I'd like to show you guys. This right here is called In Search of the Ninja, The Historical Truth of Ninjutsu, right here. And there's a section in this book on ninja magic. And this is where I'm going to pimp myself just a little bit. At the very the front of the book, page 7, on the acknowledgements right there, there are 2 Koga scrolls that Mr. Cummins, who is the author of the particular book, he gave me an acknowledgement for. So thank you very much for the acknowledgement on those particular scrolls. But this book also does have some good information regarding ninja magic that was practiced at the time. Another book is called The Secret Traditions of the Shinobi, right here. And this too has a load of ninja magic in it, guys. So all 3 books are written by Anthony Cummins, who was the person who I'm making this very first response video to. Yes, I am promoting his books, but it's not because this is some sort of a cross-promotional thing. To be quite honest, I'm not getting anything out of saying go buy his books. I'm getting nothing. So the only thing that I'm throwing out there is I'm saying this for all of my students and supporters. These are good books, and they have a lot of good information in it. And if you guys are wanting to read something that has information regarding ninja magic or witchcraft within ninjutsu, these are great books to buy. You know, I'm not getting anything from it, but I do think as a teacher and as the headmistress of the school, I have to educate my students the best way that I can. And if you guys want to read material regarding witchcraft within ninjutsu or magic, ninja magic, these books have a lot of great information regarding that particular subject. Okay, I want to end this video with a few things, okay? The first thing I want to talk about is things to not get mixed up on. There is certain things where people tend to deviate from the correct path, and I think it's very important to understand there's a difference between Majutsu or Maho and Genjutsu. Genjutsu is something that's really widely seen in ninjutsu, and Genjutsu is not witchcraft, okay? Genjutsu is the art of illusion. That's like pulling a rabbit from a hat. It's like a trick. Okay, so don't get Genjutsu mixed up with Majutsu or Maho, which is the actual practice of witchcraft, magic, etc., etc. Now, there are other terms that are used in Japanese culture that regards magic, but the more common ones that you see thrown around in the ninja community is Genjutsu, which is the art of illusion, and people get that mixed up with magic, okay? Don't get that mixed up with that, or you have Majutsu or Maho. And that is actual magic, or what they would have practiced as magic or witchcraft from ninja samurai perspective. So anyway, I did cover all the topics that I wanted to cover. I did explain Wicca, I explained what paganism is, I explained that what they're doing is a pagan faith or pagan practice. I've explained ninja magic to a certain extent. Like I said, if you guys want to see more, please look at some of my videos. I've done lots of videos regarding the actual magic and the practices that they practice, because I do teach that within our dojo. Like I said, please go back and watch certain videos that I named earlier in the video. If you guys are interested in authentic Genjutsu and classical samurai Bujutsu, like I said, I started the Budo in 2004. You guys can come and train with us. We'll be more than happy to have anybody with a good heart who's willing to learn. We're a politic-free school, so we don't get caught up in all the big organizational he said, she said type stuff and all the arguments that you see online. We just do what we do. We practice, we train, and we try to help each other become better people. So if you guys are interested in authentic Ninjutsu and classical samurai Bujutsu, please check out the website at www.budoninjutsu.com. I also would like to thank Mr. Anthony Cummins for making the video on ninja and its connection to witchcraft, and for also mentioning me in the video. That was very nice. It is nice that it's always nice to be mentioned in the community in some sort of a positive or an educational way. And I do my best as to live my life the way that I feel that they would have led their life, you know, because I do live by quote-unquote the way. So they do practice esoteric belief. I practice esoteric belief. They trained in warrior arts. I trained in warrior arts. It was family tradition. I have created my own school. The last thing really else need someone to say is that the female ninja trained in the art of entertainment and you know, things of that nature. And boy, it would just cap the whole thing off, because then it would really paint a clear picture as to why I do what I do. So anyway, I would like to thank him for mentioning me in a educational perspective in his video. It's very nice. And if anybody has any questions regarding Wicca, witchcraft, magic within ninja magic, or any type of belief system that fits this particular video, please put your comments in the link below, and I'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. So until next time, take care, be safe, and good luck in your journey in Budo. Bye.